What is up? It's been a minute. So, this one is why living with your parents in your 20s can be a good thing. Now, hear me out. Listen, because I already know it's like, oh no, like if you're still in your like late 20s and you're living with your parents, that's not the norm. You're weird. It's time for you to get out. It's like, I'm gonna tell you why I'm against that. At least in this time, like in this period, you know. Like, have you seen the prices these days? That's all I'm saying. I feel like living with your parents, or even not even with your parents, but even with a roommate, in your 20s, I feel like that's the best thing to do right now. Just, with inflation and, just prices going up and up and up. Like, you're almost in a better position than someone who would be like financially struggling on their own, and like barely paying rent and like behind on their bills. You know what I mean? Because then they could end up being homeless. You know what I'm saying? Then where are you gonna go? So it's just like stuff like that where I'm like, you know, I don't see why people judge you for still being with your parents. Because I feel like, for me personally, I do still live with my mom. But, like, I know I would be homeless if I didn't. Because I'm also broke. So it's like, why would I put myself in that situation? You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense to me. But also at the same time, I'm working on my stuff, you know what I mean? And also, if you're still with your parents, or if you have a roommate or things like that, you can save money while you're still there, you know what I mean? Save even more money than people who are on their own, because a lot of people, they don't even know how to manage their money and they're on their own and they're struggling and they're almost homeless. And it's like, then what? It's like, at that point, well, they gotta figure out how to manage their money. But, easier said than done. Whereas I feel like when you are with your parents or with a roommate in your 20s, I feel like you learn how to manage money a lot better on your, like, when you have some actual help, Because then you start to realize just areas where you're going wrong with your money, and then just like areas where you're going right with your money, and what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and you feel like you get more wiser the older you get in your 20s. And if you're still kind of like still figuring shit out, I just feel like that would just be a better situation, if you don't have your stuff together and everything figured out. Because a lot of us don't really have everything figured out. I still don't have everything figured out. But I'm just saying, I feel like I'm starting to get everything figured out, being 24 years old now, where I feel like I would be struggling a lot more if I was on my own and figuring things out. Does that make sense? Like, I know I'm like rambling, but like, does that make sense? You get me? Okay. So, I'm just saying, personally, I wasn't that person that was quick to move out of my parents' house at 18. A lot of people, and then I tell people that did move out, at that time, and they're like, oh, you still live with your parents? Good, do not leave, because the prices right now, and it's just like, so I'm like I feel like I'm almost in a better position than, but also at the same time, here's why it can be a bad thing, living with your parents as well, or like relying on your parents. Because it's like, sometimes you might feel like sometimes I kind of think, like, I feel like I do need to be out on my own, and I do need to kind of experience that independence and things on my own, because I don't want it to feel like, for my mom, I don't want it to feel like I'm taking advantage of her while I'm like, that's why, I'm letting her know that, oh, I'm working on myself, and I'm working on, building this channel, and, getting my stuff right and stuff like that. So it kind of puts her at ease, like, okay, now that I know she's working on something and not just like being lazy and just doing absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Because, you know, then that's when I feel like you're kind of leeching off your parents at that point. No, you are. Not even kind of. You are. Leeching off your parents and relying too much on them and taking advantage of them, you know. Like, if you just stay in your room and you're playing video games all day, or you're like, I don't know, on the phone all day, watching movies all day, or any kind of thing, whatever, stuff like that, and like you're still stuck at home and you have like no job, no nothing like that. If you're being lazy, that's different. That's a completely different situation. Where it's like, okay, at that point now you're just like taking advantage. But I'm talking about for I'm talking about the people that still live with their parents, but they're working towards something. Like, if you're working towards something and your parents can see that, I feel like they would be a lot more supportive, um, in your situation. And they'll see that if you're working on you and you're working on getting your stuff together, then yeah. But, that's why I feel like living with your parents can be a good thing in your 20s. And now also living with a roommate is also a good thing in your 20s as well, because then at that point you're learning how to pay bills. You gotta stay on point. Like, even though, yeah, you're not paying the full bill, but you're still paying half, it still teaches you how to do that, and figure out financial situations and things like that. I just feel like it's a lot better that you have help, whether that's from a roommate or whether that's from parents, than being on your own completely in your 20s. Um, the only downside is it can stunt your growth if you're not careful. Um, and you can kind of like get used to like getting lazy and things like that. That's the only thing where it's like you need to like step up, and get out of that and quick. Okay? Because then that can end up turning into like years of getting used to that, and it gets worse over time. But yeah, personally, I feel like that's probably the best thing to do right now, in 2024, going into 2025, you know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's just my little rant. Cause I saw like, cause people that like are on their own and stuff like that, right? They just, a lot of the times, not everyone, but a lot of the times, they do judge you for it, And I feel like you shouldn't really, if you're like in a terrible financial situation and you're judging someone else for being with their parents, I'm like, you got bigger things to worry about than worrying about me still living with my parents. You know what I mean? Like, you're about to be broke and homeless. I really don't think you should be coming for me right now. Just saying. But yeah. But then it's also difficult because, there's also people that don't have supportive parents and who don't, have that kind of support system. So then that's another situation as well. That's another conversation in itself. But I mean, I'm grateful that I do have that support system in my life, but I do know that a lot of people don't as well. And a lot of people get kicked out, and a lot of people just kind of have to just figure it out on their own because they don't have that, or their parents are, very strict, or just a bunch of different factors as well. Um, so that's why at the same time it's hard to really be like, oh yeah, it's a good thing to live with your parents, but then, it's easy to say that, but it's like also it's like, okay, but then what about the other people that, got kicked out? Um, yeah. And I feel for them, man. I do. Because it's definitely not easy right now. And But at the end of the day, if you do have that support system, and that kind of, like, if you do have parents that support you and you do have that support system and you do have a roommate, or you do have a roommate, be blessed, be grateful that you do, because a lot of people don't. But while you do have that, make sure that you're on your point. Like make sure on your point. Make sure that you're on your shit. you know? And that you're saving up a lot of money while, you are there. So that way when you're ready to be on your own, you would feel better that you took the time to kind of build your wealth and build your financial status before, like while you were with a roommate or while you were with your parents. So then that way when you're out, you're better off and you're in a way better circumstance than you could have been if you just moved out like at the jump, like with everyone else, so that's just really what I gotta say about that. But anyway, that's it. Just my little rant. I don't even know if you guys are liking these videos or not, but let me know in the comments if you are. If not, I can stop yapping and we can do something else. That's fine. Like, oh my god, please stop talking to the camera. We do not care. No, but be nice about it, guys. I'm sensitive. Be nice about it. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I got some more stuff coming for you guys. So stay blessed, stay grateful, all that good stuff. And have a good day, good night, afternoon, evening. Yeah. You know, you get it.